Hello, everyone, and welcome inside the newsroom at Town Square Towers in downtown Toms River. I'm Vin Ebenu here with Dani Corso, the Executive Director of David's Dream and Believe Cancer Foundation, and Harvey Cedars Police Chief Robert Burnaford to discuss No Shave November efforts. As you could see, the Chief and I have been working hard the last couple of weeks getting the beards going. I think yours looks a little bit better than mine. Mine's a little more slow growing. But we're going to discuss No Shave November, the fun part of it, the awareness part of it, and how you can help yourselves. Dani, this is a big organization that continues to grow. It affects a lot of people. So what is it that your organization does to help those affected by cancer?
Thanks so much for having both of us today. It's really awesome to be able to share David's Dream and Believe with not only Ocean County, but with the state. And this is a great opportunity to do so. So David's Dream and Believe is a nonprofit grassroots organization that's based in Manahawkin, New Jersey. But we do provide direct financial assistance, wellness services, and hope to families throughout the entire state of New Jersey who are affected by a cancer diagnosis. Basically what that means is that when a family is diagnosed with cancer, we become a resource for them. And they complete an application. It's pretty straightforward, and then David will review each by himself. A lot of times he'll contact the patient directly to answer any questions that the application may bring forward, and then at the end of the day, we provide a check to the family to be utilized for housing, utilities, food costs, co-pays, basically any financial stressor that would make a diagnosis more difficult to overcome.
Now, do people reach out to the organization for help, or do you look for or advertise for people to reach out to you if they need help?
So that's part of the grassroots part of it all. For the most part, our families come to us from nurse navigators and social workers from hospitals throughout the entire state. But we do have a very strong referral network from our families who have been assisted in the past, and our social media following is quite strong, so we do find that we are receiving more and more interest and need from our network along Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Is there a limitation to what the organization can provide to somebody who has cancer or affected by cancer, or do you offer a wide range of help and aid for somebody in that situation?
So that's a very broad question, and the answer is yes, for both of the questions. There is a limit to what we can do. Like I said, we are a grassroots organization. The majority of our funding is event-driven, and we do have a strong contingent of individuals and businesses who do support us on a monthly basis, but funding is built by our community. So if there's not funding, then we can't help. So that's where the limit is. But as far as what we offer in resources, we have a really strong service arm where we provide families with resources such as acupuncture, massage, therapy, recreation, fitness and wellness. And then our patient advocate our patient advocate board is a collection of people who have been affected by cancer themselves, and they provide a lot of emotional support for families that are currently going through a diagnosis. So we're your question was broad, and our offer to the community is also very broad itself.
I want to talk about the awareness and kind of bring both of you in here. So the awareness, I think, is just as important as, the treatment, the aid for it. So during the month of November, the no shave or fundraising efforts or doing different activities to raise awareness of especially testicular and prostate cancer, different cancers, men's mental health. What are some of the things that you do, especially during the month of November or just year-round, to help raise awareness?
Okay. So I would like to clarify that DDBCF does help all cancers, all ages, throughout the entire state all year long. The only two exceptions to that are our Jetty Coquina Jam in July, August, which provides assistance for females affected by cancer, and then November, which is focused on males. But the rest of the time, we will help anybody for any diagnosis. But through the month of November, we have Shave the Date, which is hosted by Swing Graphics. It is a month-long crowdfunding commitment where we have local community members, local meaning town, community, statewide, who will promise to raise awareness for DDBCF and men's cancer diagnoses through promising generally in their face through mustaches or beards or goatees or whatever they feel like is their mode of choice. And they become our advocates. We call them Shave the Date ambassadors, and they become our voice throughout the month of November. Outside of the crowdfunding digital campaign, we also do weekly pop-ups at a few different breweries or restaurants. For example, we were at, where we were at week 1? Do you remember? Oh, Hotel LBI. We had our first pop-up at Hotel LBI for our launch, and they donated 10% of all food sales. The week after, we had a pop-up at Manafurkin Brewing Company, and they donated 10% of sales all day. This past week, we had a small gathering at the Arlington, which is they've been a major part of the Shave the Date commitment for the past 3 years. Enjoyed a couple Manhattans and had some good conversation. And then this coming the 22nd, we will be having another pop-up at Ship Bottom Brewery in Beach Haven, and they're donating 10% of sales all day. And all of those funds will come back to the Shave the Date campaign. On November 29th, we have a pop-up barbershop and mustache bash, which is like a very family friend. I know, it's so funny, right? It makes it a little lighthearted. Cancer is it's scary. It's not easy to talk about, but we like to be the light in all of that darkness, and we find ways through events and through our relationships with people to make it as I don't want to say cancer, make it as just comfortable as possible to talk about, as easy as possible, yeah. So on November 29th, that pop-up barbershop and mustache bash, all of our ambassadors are able to come and get a shave or a haircut at no charge because they have been raising money for us all throughout the entire month. The Bearded Lady is there at the Arlington, and we have food and we have drinks and we hang out and we talk and we connect, and it just is an opportunity for us to be grateful for the fact that we are able to be there and we're able to help other people.
Chief, I know you've been working, this is something you've been passionate about at least the last couple of years that I've noticed in working with the foundation here. How did you form the relationship here in raising the funds, the donation, the awareness for the organization right down in Southern Ocean?
Yeah, sure. So again, but Vin, thank you and Town Squares Media for having us on here, because obviously, I'm going to be able to showcase my beard, which has a little more gray than you. But I mean, this is what it's all about. It's all about the awareness. So it originally started back in 2016 when my mom was diagnosed with colorectal cancer. And so that was obviously a very difficult time. So that next November was the first time that my department actually participated in the No Shave November movement, which is something that I didn't make up. It's nationwide, and I believe it's even worldwide. But that particular year that all the officers in my department decided to donate to a place of my mom's choice. At that time, she was being treated at UPenn. So we donated all of our funds, which we raised approximately $10,000, which went back to the Abramson Cancer Center to give back to them, which they were tremendous to my family. Moving forward from that, David Caldarelda had reached out to me, just obviously about everything that was going on. So that was really what started the relationship with myself and the foundation. So at that point forward, then we reached out. So that next November, actually, we 17, we got together, myself and Dani. We sat down to figure out how do we move forward and start this now locally. So it started with our police department, and then we contacted with the other police departments on Long Beach Island. We started getting together and started growing beards and raising that awareness.
And certainly this is, like you said, something that's nationwide, worldwide, even with the Movember Foundation, No Shave November. So a lot of different people from different organizations, but especially law enforcement, seems to take a lot of pride everywhere in just growing mustaches, no matter how big or small they are. A lot of people brag about the small ones too, or beards or anything. So it can get very entertaining and fun. With how it grows out and the different colors. So you show the grays a little bit there. But why do you think the law enforcement as a whole takes such pride or such an initiative to raise awareness?
Well, most departments, including mine, have policies and procedures in place that prohibit you from growing any type of facial hair. Some departments you can grow a mustache or whatnot, but for the most part, there's no facial hair. So with that, this gives us, the officers, an opportunity to grow their facial hair for a great cause. So it makes, something that's not easy to talk about, something that's scary, something that's sad, that's something that everyone or the majority of people are affected one way or the other, whether it's themselves, their family, their friends, their neighbors, or anyone you talk to. Cancer is everywhere. So this gives the officers a chance to grow their facial hair, kind of break the rules for a month, but start that conversation. So when you see a police officer, typically they're clean shaven. Now you see a police officer, they have facial hair, some more gray, some others, but then they start, hey, why are you growing facial hair this month? Then you tell them why, and then you direct them to where to go and how to donate. So that's kind of the nuts and bolts of it.
Now, what I know, as somebody affected by cancer as well, what kind of conversations do you try to have with either members of your department or people in the community about, raising awareness or donating or just being a listening ear for somebody who's either has cancer or is affected by cancer?
Yeah, it's a good question, because now I feel that there's a lot of different foundations and organizations that are, you're asking for money, and whether it's cancer or whether it's a fire company or whether it's just another, sometimes you're asking for money, a lot of the times. So this one, for me personally, kind of really hits home. And then my mom ultimately did pass away from that cancer, so it really does hit home. So when you talk to people, you tell your story, you tell your feelings, and you tell you how much it actually means to you about what we're doing. And you know what? And some people can't afford to give the money. So and some people can. Now I have friends who are growing beards and mustaches, and they can donate the money. Now, so for instance, I have a good friend who owns a home in Harvey, Cedars. He is out in Marlton. They live there full time, but they're growing the facial hair, right? So they're taking part with the department and doing that, and then that sparks a conversation in Marlton, and he can hit all of his friends and his family out there. So it really just it grows. It's not just for the LBI or the Ocean County region; it's statewide and nationwide. So it's just really about hitting home and just speaking to people and just being honest and open and just sharing your feelings.
I know a lot of the focus this month is, on testicular cancer, prostate cancer, men's health. Certainly, if the cancer affects men and women alike, but as somebody in law enforcement and maybe going to different accidents or situations or arrests that you have or seeing other men in law enforcement do, how important is it for men on the job and as a police officer to talk to somebody or to seek help if they went to something they're struggling with, or there's something going on in their home life and they're bringing it to work with them in making sure that their mind is clear, that they're doing okay themselves with whatever is going on in their life?
Right. I mean, because we're humans too, right? So we usually encounter people at their worst, so we just kind of internalize it, right? But you need to ask for that help. You need to, everybody needs help. We're you and I put our pants on one leg at a time this morning, right? So you have to ask for help, and when people need our help, we have to listen. So it's really just a give and take relationship. But I think as we move forward, in every day, that officers are starting to open up a little bit more. But that's really, really important, for any law enforcement officer out there to know that they can ask for help and they can talk, and it's not something to be ashamed of. Something that's very important.
What are some ways, Dani, that going back to the foundation here, that people can either donate to the foundation, or if you're looking for volunteers, how they can get involved or help spread your message?
So it really does come down to awareness. The dollars are extremely important as well. We can't help anybody without having the financial support to do so. If someone is inclined to donate, we have a direct donation tab on our website. If they're looking to volunteer, sending myself or David an email is a great way to go. We have a contact form on our website as well. And even in having somebody in your family or your friend network or one of your loved ones who is going through a cancer diagnosis, reaching out to us for help, that's why we exist. We exist for the patient. And if there's somebody who's listening right now who needs help, reaching out to us for an application is very important to us. That's, like I said, that's why we exist. So really it comes down to raising the awareness for the community, raising awareness for your loved ones. If you know somebody who happens to know somebody who happens to know somebody, that can be a big benefit to us in making the introductions. We are 2 employees. We have a completely volunteer board of directors. We have our volunteer service arm. We have our volunteer advisory board. We have our patient advocates. But we are a very small group of people who do really good things for the community. We're going on our 10-year anniversary in 2020. David is 9 years cancer-free as of this past Monday. And his diagnosis hit the way that he went through his diagnosis, the way that he wanted to give back to the community, the way that DDBCF has grown over the past 10 years is a testament to what a very tight-knit, localized driven community can do to help other people. So really, it comes down to investing yourself in something that you're passionate about. And both myself and Rob really do believe in the mission of David's Dream and Believe. And generally speaking, most people who come into contact with us will find themselves either attending an event or making a donation or making an introduction to somebody else. We're a very welcoming family that want to do the best for patients throughout the entire state.
Dani, thanks for the time. Chief, thanks for the time. Good luck with the beard the rest of the month. It's coming in better than mine, I'm sure. Different colors, but I mean, that's all right. It still looks good. And
thank you so much.
Thank you again for coming in, both of you, and keep up all the good work you're doing with David's Dream and Believe Cancer Foundation. That's Dani, that's Chief Robert Burnaford, and Harvey Cedars. I'm Vin Ebenu here in the newsroom. And if you're growing your beard or mustache, keep it growing. And remember, this month is about raising awareness.